Hey everyone, I am back, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you how you can start getting into a consistent workout routine. So for me, I've always struggled with working out. I've never really considered myself very athletic, a gym rat, or really loving a workout. Even to this day, I still don't really love working out, but we all know that it's very important for our health, mentally and physically. So getting into a workout routine is really important. But because I've struggled with it, I also know and understand how it can be very, very challenging to actually start getting into that sort of workout routine. So just a little bit of a history of my own personal struggle with working out and getting into a healthier lifestyle. Growing up, my sisters and I always played outside. We always enjoyed, playing on our skateboards, on our scooters, kicking a ball around. We were always very active, but we never worked out, if that made sense. So we were very active. We would go on hikes, on bike rides, all those sorts of things, and it never felt like a workout. But in doing that, we were all very active and healthy, and it worked out to our benefit. Now fast forward to getting a little bit older, more in like the high school time frame, we all did various sports throughout high school. So for me, I did softball up until my junior year, and then my senior year I didn't because I just didn't have the time for it. But freshman through junior year, I was playing on a softball team. Now, granted, that's only part of the year, a very small part of the year, but it was something, and something is better than nothing. In doing so, I've never really developed the habit of working out, of going to a gym, of getting that extra exercise and thinking of it like exercise, if that makes sense. So it was always just an extra activity. Now flash forward to college, where my only form of exercise really turned into walking to and from class. So at this point, I'd really stopped a lot of physical activity and of course started eating more poorly because it's college, and started gaining more weight. And so throughout like the first 3 years of college, I would always try to work out. I would go to the gym like once a month maybe, and going once a month was, of course, better than never going at all, but it didn't really do anything for me. And that was when I found that I really hated going to the gym. It was not motivating. I couldn't get myself to really put forth an effort. It was a struggle, to say the least. So finally, my senior year rolls around, and at this point, I'm pretty upset with how my body is looking, how I'm feeling, and so I decide to start working out. And I was able to get a friend of mine who also had the same kind of goals to start working out with me. So we were really good. We started working out for the first part of the semester until about October, and then we stopped. And then the second semester, we decided we were gonna run a half marathon, so we would run a couple times a week, and that was about it. And then once I graduated, I stopped working out again. So only recently, last year, it's been a little bit over a year now, I've been consistently working out 2 to 3 times a week. Going from not working out at all to working out very sporadically to finally starting to work out on a consistent schedule. And I've noticed such a big difference in my body and the way I feel, the way I feel about myself, my confidence. It really has a larger impact than just a number on a scale. So I want you guys to keep that in mind while I start going through these tips. So these are the 6 things that really I started implementing to start being more consistent with my workouts and to start having a little bit of a healthier, consistent lifestyle. So my first tip is to get an expensive membership. And I know you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I can't even afford half my bills. How am I supposed to afford an expensive workout? And yes, you can totally work out at home. There's plenty of workouts to do at home. I'm going to be trying to post more at home workouts because I know how challenging it can be and how expensive it can be to have a membership. But if you can afford some extra money to buy a membership every month, then I would definitely recommend doing that. And the reason behind that is if you are putting money towards it, especially if it's a more expensive membership, you're gonna wanna use that membership. You're gonna think, well, I'm spending this money anyway, I need to take advantage of it. So for me, my monthly membership is $145 a month, which is insane. That is a very, very expensive amount to put towards a workout class every single month. But you know what? Because I'm spending that money, I want to be using that membership as much as I possibly can so that I'm taking advantage of it and I don't feel like I'm wasting money. So if you have a little bit of money to spare, I would definitely recommend getting a membership somewhere and maybe like pushing the limit a little bit so that you are more willing to commit to that membership and to doing those workouts since you're spending so much on it anyway. The next tip is to get into a consistent schedule. So pick 2 to 4 days a week when you want to work out, whatever you can make time for. Pick specific times that are the same on those days and start doing it at those times. So for me, I go every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Now that I've gone so much, it's just a habit. It's because it's been the same exact thing for a year now. So it does take time to get into a habit, but this will definitely help you build that habit quicker because it's the same exact time every single week. So eventually at some point, it's just gonna become second nature for you. What's also great about doing a consistent schedule is that when you're doing this, especially if the class has the same kind of format every class, then you start to get more comfortable with it. And when we're more comfortable with things, we're more willing to do it. It's kind of just that like initial, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do this, that makes us not want to do it and that can be an excuse to prevent us from getting into the habit in the first place. But once you start doing the same things over and over and over again, you're gonna get more and more comfortable doing those movements, going to the class at a certain time, doing that type of schedule of class every single week. You're gonna start to get way more comfortable, and then because of that, you're gonna be much more willing to start going to your classes or to start working out. So my next tip for you guys is to try out different things and find out what works for you. For me, I've found that I need to be in a class setting. I need an instructor there. I need somebody pushing me along, because if I don't have anybody pushing me, then I'll definitely just let my excuses roll in and I'll end up going to the gym for 5 or 10 minutes, walking on a treadmill and then leaving. So for me, going to a class where somebody else is telling me what to do, somebody else is motivating me, that really works well for me. And you could try out different classes. You can get a class pass. They don't have it where I live, but I've heard that's great because you just sign up for the class pass and then you can try a bunch of different classes wherever you want. But you should also just look into it, because a lot of these class-oriented gym memberships will give you some sort of discount or free option to try it out. So I know like the yoga place where I live does a free week of yoga. And then where I go to class when I do my kickboxing, you can get 3 classes and a pair of gloves for $10 to try it out. So do a little bit of research and see what options you have and start trying out classes here or there if you think that that's gonna be a better option for you. Or you can even try out different gyms if you think a gym option is better for you, if you work better on your own and you just bring your own schedule and you just do that. Try out different gyms in your area, because you just never know how it's gonna feel unless you start going there. And if you're comfortable with your gym and where you're going, then you're gonna be much more likely to keep going long term. So this brings me to tip number 4, which is to get an accountability partner. Now, I know that this can be especially difficult if you're new somewhere, if you've just moved somewhere, or you just don't know many people where you live, or none of your friends really want to start working out with you. I would recommend going to those gyms, those classes that you've been trying out, and go to that specific gym and start speaking to some other people there to see if they would be interested. So like at our kickboxing gym, we're always encouraged to find other people in the class who need an accountability partner who you can like text whenever and be like, hey, are you coming to class today? I'm coming to class today, whatever that may be. But having an accountability partner is so powerful, and I think this is the biggest reason I've been able to get into a workout routine. So when I started doing kickboxing, it was actually my friend who approached me and said that she wanted to start doing it and asked if I wanted to join her. And because we signed up together and we picked our schedule, we started going on our consistent days, you don't want to disappoint your friend by not going. And it sounds really bad, but I feel like a lot of us feel worse about letting somebody else down and disappointing somebody else than disappointing ourselves. So if you have that accountability partner there, you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to like cancel on them last minute. You don't want to like disappoint them and make them feel uncomfortable because now they have to go to class alone or they're not going to go to class at all. You want to keep staying consistent with them. So having that accountability partner there can be super, super helpful. Plus, it's also a lot less intimidating when you have somebody there that you know, who you can try out classes with, who you can try out gyms with, who you can start going with consistently, because then you aren't standing there awkwardly before class starts or when it ends. And if you're super shy and introverted like I am, it can be very difficult to approach people and to meet people, and I totally get that. So having somebody there to kind of help make you feel more comfortable going, I guess, again, it's all about getting comfortable going, then you're gonna be more likely to keep going. Now, the next tip is group support. So this definitely goes hand in hand with getting an accountability partner and with finding classes that work with you. Like I said earlier, I found that classes work best for me. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because you're surrounded by so many other people with you. And for me, I'm incredibly competitive. So if you have a more competitive personality, then being in a class setting might be very, very helpful for you, because you see people around you starting to do these things and then you start thinking, I can do that. I can do that just as much as they're doing it. I can go faster. I can go harder. I can do this. I can keep going. And just being in that group environment makes me feel like I get a much better workout in, and it makes me push myself a lot harder. So if you are in a more competitive mindset, I would definitely recommend leaning more towards doing classes and more of like a group style workout. And the last tip for you guys is to get an instructor. This again goes with the comfort of working out. So if you're not used to working out, if you haven't done a lot of like working out in your past, or you're just not comfortable in that environment, I would highly recommend getting an instructor, whether that's in a class setting or at your specific gym, and just getting a trainer. A lot of gyms actually will give you a couple of free sessions with a trainer to help you get more comfortable in the gym. So I would definitely recommend taking advantage of that, because if you're more confident and if you're more comfortable, you're gonna be more willing to keep going. Plus, having an instructor there is also way more motivating, because they're gonna push you, they're gonna encourage you, and you don't have to think about what you have to do the entire time. Somebody else is gonna tell you what you have to do. So you're just like taking out an extra step of having to figure out what type of workout you wanna do, and you're just making it easier for yourself by letting somebody else figure that out for you. Now, having a trainer or an instructor in classes and stuff is typically more expensive than just going to a gym and doing it yourself. But like I said earlier, if it's going to keep you consistent, if it's going to make you work out, if you're going to be willing to spend the money and commit to it, it's going to make you start going more regularly and take advantage of that opportunity that you have. So those are my 6 tips for you with getting into a consistent workout. If you have been struggling with getting into a workout, I would suggest trying at least a couple of these to see if it helps you out. And if it does, please give this video a thumbs up. It will really support this channel and help others out as well. And other than that, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.